Hi everyone, I'm just about to go outside for my first real trip around the garden and to try and actually do things. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do, but this is my first real attempt since I've been effectively incapacitated. So I'm going to, looks like we might get a little bit of rain fairly soon, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to pop my boots on and then quickly stoke the fire. As I'm here alone, but my wife certainly appreciates coming home to a warm, cosy house, so we'll keep the fire going. I lit it about an hour ago, and then we're going to go and see what we can do. Now, one of the things I've found most difficult about trying to make these videos on my own at the moment is I just use my phone. I just use my iPhone, and obviously I usually hold it with one hand, and then I might show you something with the other hand. And there is occasions when I use a tripod like I'm doing right now. But just putting it on the tripod is incredibly hard with just one hand because I'm too mean to buy any expensive equipment. So everything I've got from yard sales, car boot sales, FreeCycle, things like that. I got this tripod from FreeCycle, and the little stand that it goes on, the little bit that holds the phone at the top, it's great. It does the job, and for me, that's all it needs to do. But it's incredibly cheap. I think it was 99p from eBay, and it's done on a. I can't even show you. I can't even take it off to show you. But it's done on like a spring. So you have to hold it open and then slot the phone in. And of course, I just can't do that at the moment. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's been really tricky to show you these things. So anyway, I'm going to go outside now. But again, I can't remove the phone and then put it back into the tripod. So we're going to be tripoding all the way. So let's go and have a wander around and see what I may or may not be able to achieve. One of the things I am extremely keen to try and do is to collect some bread from the bakery that is basically next door, because while I'm struggling to lift things, I've been reliant on help from my brother-in-law to help me collect the pig feed, and as a result we've been collecting a lot less than we otherwise might, and we've actually run out. So I'm relying on there being some bread left over at the bakery for today. Otherwise, I may have to arrange a trip to go and buy some pig feed, which will be the first time we've had to buy pig feed in maybe 6 months. Now, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to actually physically carry it back, so I'm going to drive the ride-on mower next door with the trailer on the back and see if we can collect it that way. Hello, girls. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. I've really missed my girls. I haven't seen them in so long. And you, Sid. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's lovely to see you. It really is. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Fern's looking good. Fern's condition's looking good, which is great. And their coats are starting to look a little bit less sheer, a little bit less sheen. They're all, oh, hello, my lovely. Mwah. I have missed you all. But all the goats' coats are starting to look a little bit more raggedy, and that's just their winter coats. You can see they just look a little bit scruffier. That's just their winter coats. Hello, guys. Shall I get you a little bit of hay? Let me give you a little bit extra hay. I think they might like that. Oh, we're going to have to get you moved as well, aren't we? So again, at this time of year, a lot of our efforts and energy go towards managing the ground. And as you can see, just on the entrance into the housing there, it's starting to get a bit chewed up. So that's the beauty of that big arc up there. Is it's movable, so we're going to need to either move that arc down here or maybe put them back in this top paddock for a bit. That'll be in the next few days. Another thing that we need to do, and it's something that we need to do regularly, as you know, is to move the hens again. Oh, I didn't get you your hay, did I? I got distracted. Hang on. We need to move the hens again. The hens that are in the 2 trailers. And when my wife sees this, she's going to be a little bit upset because she thinks I spoil them. She thinks I give them too much hay. But I'm just gonna give them a little bit later. So they've had a full hay net this morning, and they'll get another one tonight. But I think, you know, especially with them all being in kid now, I don't think that we can really overfeed them. The reason my wife thinks they're overfed is just because of the amount they leave, but that's the nature of goats. Just the nature of goats. But they're getting hay now. Much more than this. They get a big amount of hay twice a day, and then they also get some what's called high yield goat food, which has got a lot of molasses in it, and really high energy food source for them. So they're also getting that once a day. So they are well fed. Anyway, as I was saying, so we need to move the chicken housing, the trailers again, and it's something that I've shown you guys before, and it is quite a lot of work. It's attaching it to the back of the mower is quite a lot of work, and you may or may not remember me saying last time we moved it that we thought that if we got a tow hitch for a towing ball for the back of the ride-on mower, that it would make it really simple. It would actually make it a one-person job, something my wife could do on her own, or that we could do while I'm disabled with my arm. And I've ordered one, so I managed to find one for under a tenner. So that should be with us in the next few days, and then I'll just bolt that on, and that should make moving the trailers a much simpler task from there on in. So that's our egg shop just there on the side of the road, and that's a little spare stand when we've got too much to fit in the little shop out there. We put that stand out next to it. So the next stop is the bakery. So, as you can see, got 2 sacks of just surplus bread that was going to be thrown out, and obviously we're going to find a much better use for it than that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make a couple of trips because I'm not going to be able to carry the tripod and the camera and the bread at the same time, but there you go. Nice problem to have. Next up, we're going to go up to the pigs, give them some of this lovely bread. Don't know if you remember, about 3 or 4 months ago, I put some stone down, some hardcore on this track where the wheels run. I didn't have enough to do the whole track. You can really tell the difference on the bits that I've done and the bits that I haven't. So the bit behind me is pretty much all done, but then this next section, look, you see the difference. And we're still in November, so we've got a good 3 months yet of potentially boggy weather. The only times it won't be wet and boggy is when we have hard frosts and it's sort of frozen. So like I say, this little section that I'm coming through now, I didn't have enough hardcore to do that bit, but I did do this next section, which was a little bit worse, and you can just see the difference. So it's really, really paid to do that. I'm really glad I've done it, and I will continue as and when I come across the material for free to get the whole path done. It's just made such a difference when you think the bits that I've done were the worst bits. So those bits that look bad now, that everywhere else would have been even worse than that. So I'm really glad I've done it. Anyway, I'm just up at the pigwood now. We've just come to, you can see the ground, you can see the difference between the bit the pigs have access to and the bit just beyond. And so we've just come up to the corner of the pigwood now. So it's like the thing with the farmer who has to take the fox, the rabbit and the cabbage across the stream and can only take one at a time. On this trip, I've brought the camera. So now I've got to go back for the bread. Hello, girls. They're coming now. I'll let you watch them while I go and get the bread. Good girl. There's plenty. You haven't got to fight. There's plenty. Now there's 4 of them, and because they vary in size, I try and spread the feed out a fair way so that they don't have to fight. They're not forced into a position where they need to fight for the one patch with food in. This is the guy that I want to keep long term. So this is the one I'm focusing on, getting used to being around people. This one closest to me. And to be fair, he's already pretty friendly, aren't you, buddy? There's plenty of it. So the other thing I've got in the back of my mind now, because this injury has altered my plans on butchering the girl that we're butchering soon, I'm just mindful of these boys reaching sexual maturity, but also a size that they can actually basically mount the girls, because I don't really want her getting pregnant. But I'll be 100% honest, I'm not sure there's a lot I can do about it. The second that I'm able now, we're in November, so the weather is pretty much going to be conducive to me butchering. So like I said, there's not a tremendous amount I can do about it, apart from just, process her as soon as I can. But there you go. Aren't they lovely though? Amazing animals. And so easy to keep, I think. Right, I've got one more bag of bread to bring up, and looking at how quickly they're getting through this, I'll probably give them that as well, because what they don't finish off now, they'll come back for later. So I've just gone and got the other bag of bread and put that in, so that's quite a lot for them. Now, I wouldn't normally do this at the other end of the wood. This is about as far from our house as you can get and still be on our property, so we don't have the pest pressure here that we might get elsewhere, so I'm not really worried about rats and mice here. If I did this all the time, that would change things, but as an occasional thing in this area, I don't think, I've never noticed, never seen any vermin in this area, so I don't really need to worry about that. But yeah, so I don't mind overfeeding them just this once, just to save me having to find a bin somewhere to put the rest of the bread, etc, etc. And there's quite a lot of bread left at the bakery. Basically, there's 4 wheelie bins outside the bakery, and the chap, at the end of the day, they bag up all the unused loaves and the bread that they've baked that's wastage. I've explained that to you before, I think. They put that in these paper flour bags, and they just place that in the top of the wheelie bin. So I just lift the lid up and pick it up. It means I don't have to go there at a certain time. So there's quite a bit more there. But the other stuff's a bit heavier. It's going to be virtually impossible for me to actually lift it out the bin with just my left hand, because for those of you who don't know, I've sprained my left wrist as well. So I'm very close to being useless, but not quite. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to remove it. So I will let Jackie know when she gets home, and we can go and collect it together if she thinks we need it. She's obviously far more appraised of the feed situation at the moment, because she's the one doing all the work. Sorry, love. No, it was lovely to get out and see the animals. I can't really collect the eggs because one of our trailer laying box systems is definitely a two-handed job. I'm just not going to be able to do it. There's so much. Every step I take, I see a job that I would love to do and I can't. Look at this under my feet. All this glorious compost material that's going to do nothing but kill the grass here, and I just can't collect it, can't put it on the compost. And that's okay. Has to be okay. We've had a really good year here. We've achieved a lot, and it's frustrating because I can't continue that forward momentum, and this is a great time of year to do a lot of it, because, well, it's different. So in my head, I'm like, this is a great time of year, and I've got the time, I'm sat at home, I could be achieving so much, but of course I wouldn't be sat at home if I was able to do these jobs. It's my girls again. If I was able to do these jobs, I wouldn't be sat at home. I'm sat at home because I can't. And I need to remember that. Yeah, there's lots of bits and bobs to do. I want to cut. In a week or two, I'll be able to do a lot of these things. I want to be able to cut the runner beans back so they can overwinter. Look at this. Look at the. Probably 5 weeks ago, you couldn't see through that. That was a mass of leaves. That's our grapevine. Do you remember? This area needs a bit of a tidy. I need to get some. Bloody hell! Look at that. It is middle of November, and we've got some raspberry flowers. How bizarre! My asparagus ferns are ready to be chopped back as well and mulched over. There's lots of little bits and bobs I'd like to be doing, but honestly, I think that's going to be it for today. That's going to be me calling it a day in terms of productive stuff I can do outside and share with you guys. Thank you for giving me the impetus to get out and get something productive done, and I'll keep you all up to date with progress on me and on the homestead. Make sure you press that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and also press that little bell so you get notified of new videos as and when they're released. Check out our podcast, which is every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, which is the Self-Sufficient Hub podcast. And if you wanted to go even further with your support, then find me on Patreon, where it's patreon.com/selfsufficienthub, and all those links are in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Speak to you soon.